So, hi dear students, hope you all are doing well. Today we are going to study the fifth chapter of your geography textbook named Water. What comes to your mind when you hear the word water? So, obviously, a glass of water which we drink, the water we take for bath, the water we see in the rivers, the lakes, the ponds, and the seas, everywhere. Water is everywhere. To drink. Water is a daily need for every human beings, or not just human beings, every living beings to survive. So, where are we getting this water from? 3 by 4th, or the 70 percentage of Earth's surface is covered by water. So that's the reason why Earth is called as the blue planet. When you look into this image of Earth, you'll be able to see the color blue is really dominant there. The reason why the color blue is dominant is because it is 70 percentage of Earth's atmosphere, its surface is covered by water. Only the 29 to 30 percentage of the land mass that are we using. So that's the reason why it's only planet till now that's the only planet in this world which we have seen water is there, and that's why the Earth is called as blue planet. So now we are going to study about water cycle. The sun's heat causes evaporation of water vapor. When the water vapor cools down, it condenses and forms cloud. From there, it may fall on the land or sea in the form of rain, snow, or sleet. Normally, the water that we all get is from the rain, right? So, where is this rain coming from? Basically, water is there in our ground, in our earth itself. If it is a sunny day, sun will evaporate that water from the earth and it goes up, and if it get condensed, then it forms as clouds. Those condensed water will be forming as clouds, that vapor will be forming as clouds, and then it will be coming down to the earth in the form of rain, snow. The process by which water changes its form and circulates between oceans, atmosphere, and land is known as water cycle. So, water cycle. Water cycle means that normally the water that we have in the land, in the earth, is going to the atmosphere in the form of vapor, and it again is coming back to the land in the form of uh, rain or snow. This process is known as water cycle. So the next topic that we are going to study here is evaporation. It is the process through which water turns into vapor. We have already said that in a sunny hot day, if there is sunlight there, sun will ooze out water in the ground. If we just try to dry our wet cloth in a sunny day, it will go easily, right? The same way the water in the earth or land will be going to the atmosphere in a sunny day, and it is in the form of gaseous stage or vapor stage. That process is known as evaporation. So the next process is known as condensation. It is the process in which water vapor turns into water droplets. So after evaporating, this water form into clouds, right? That formation of water vapor into cloud water droplets or what clouds is known as water droplets. The last one is precipitation. Uh, Falling of moisture in the form of rainfall, snow, sleet, and hailstone is known as precipitation. So, when a cloud is having water in it, it will fall in the form of rainfall, snow, sleet, or hailstone. This process is known as precipitation. Water cycle is the combination of these three processes: evaporation, condensation, and precipitation. First, evaporation will be happening. Normal water in the earth, it will evaporate and it goes to the atmosphere. It forms into the in the form of cloud. That process is condensation. Then it again coming back to the earth is known as precipitation. So if you look into this image, you will be able to understand what evaporation, condensation, and precipitation is. Normally water is here. in the earth. This arrow denotes water in our earth. So if it is a sunny day, water will be going as the form of water vapors, and it is going through this atmosphere and form into clouds. This formation of clouds is known as condensation, and those clouds will pour in the form of rainfall, snow, or anything. This process is known as precipitation. So evaporation, condensation plus precipitation is the water cycle. I hope you got it. So the next topic is distribution of water on earth. So while starting the class itself, I have asked you, where are we getting water from? We already know that through pipes, through rainfall, through wells, through lakes, through ponds and so on. So for a normal human being, water, not just for a normal human being, for every living beings in this world, water is an important thing for survival. Like air, food, water is also an important thing. So water is very important for our survival. It continuously changes its form and circulates between oceans and atmosphere. So water is very important for our living here. It continuously changes its form. Continuously changes its form means last uh, slide itself we have said about this thing called as water cycle. So it changes its form. So normally we get fresh water from rivers, ponds, springs and glaciers. These are the places where we get, and also underground water is also available for us. The ocean bodies and the seas contain salty water. That's an important thing. In oceans and seas, it contains salty water which we can't use for our drinking purpose. Three-fourths of the Earth's surface is covered by water. We have already said it. 70% of our Earth's surface is covered by water. But all the water on Earth is not available to us. But the problem, the main problem is that the water that we use everywhere, all around the earth, it is water. But so many nations, including our states like Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, every states are going through severe drought, waterless situation in during summer. What is the reason? Because everywhere water is there. But the problem is that only 3%, the 100 per, if take the 100% of water, only 3% of that is drinkable. 97.3% of water is saline or salty water. Saline means salty water in sea and ocean. It's 3% is available to us which we use in our daily life. Many countries, we have already said about our Chennai, Tamil Nadu, Rajasthan, so many states are facing water scarcity due to this fact. What is available is also not fit for drinking because it is polluted badly due to a variety of reasons. So when we go into the internet and search for water resources everywhere, we will be able to see persons or people, especially women in their household, walking 10 or 20 kilometers to get good amount of drinking water. Water is a really precious thing in this world. If we are getting good water, please don't take it as granted. Every time, please don't take it as granted. And every time, if you are drinking water or wasting water, keep in mind that many poor people all around us are affecting from drought. So save water every time. So distribution of water on earth. We have already said that 97.3% of water in this world is not usable or we can't drink that. So, and it is all depend on the oceans. The ocean sea we have is having the lion's share of water here. The ice caps only have 2%. Groundwater is only about 0.68%. We are all, most of us are depending on that. Freshwater lakes are 0.009%, and it goes on like this. So whenever we are wasting water, when we're drinking, when we are bathing, taking bath, don't waste water because water is the most precious thing, one of the most precious thing in this world. And no, thousands of people are affected all around the place because of drought. So every time when you are having water or wasting water, please keep in mind that thing. So after all these water and all these things, we are going to study about movements in these water bodies. Especially, unlike the calm water of ponds and lakes, ocean water keeps moving continuously. So whenever we see a lake, a pond, a river, normally a river flows, but well or everything, water will not be flowing. But the ocean in water, it will be flowing continuously, moving continuously, not flowing, moving continuously. The movement which occur in oceans are of three types. There are three types of movements in ocean. First type is waves, second type is tides, and third type is currents. So whenever we go to a seashore, we will be able to see water coming to and fro. To and fro means coming to us and going back. These movement of water in seas and oceans are called as waves. When the water on the surface of the ocean rises and falls alternately, it will come once, it will go back, it will come and go back again. These are called as waves. During stormy weather, huge waves are formed. Suppose think that heavy rain and heavy huge storm are there, then waves will be stronger. These waves are very strong and can cause heavy destruction too. If huge storm is there, it can even move people and also houses from the seashore. That can even kill many people. An earthquake, a volcanic eruption, or underwater landslides can shift large amounts of ocean water. Suppose think that in a sea or in an ocean, a huge earthquake or volcanic eruption occurs, then there will be huge, big uh, waves will be coming. Such huge waves, tidal waves, is known as tsunami. When I was doing my fourth standard, when I was studying in my fourth standard, there occurred a tsunami in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and almost Southeast Asian coastal, which had caused thousands of people die and crores of monies to be lost. So in this image, you will be able to see almost a full city or town is fully emerged with water. This is almost in Indonesia at the time of 2004. A tsunami occurred there. Thousands or hundreds of people and houses were washed away, and crores of money were destroyed at that time. Buildings were destroyed, and it was a really serious thing that occurred there. So after studying about waves, now we are going to study about tides. So there is a difference between waves and tides. Tides are the rhythmic rise or it an order. Tides are the rhythmic rise and fall of ocean water which occurs twice in a day. Waves will be coming normally again and again and again, it goes on, but tides will be only coming twice a day, two times a day. It is high tide when water covers much of the shore by rising to its highest level. Normally, there is one type of tide known as high tide, and in that thing, most of the shore will be the water will be covering to the most of the shore, and the water will be in the highest level. And it will be low tide when water flows lowest level. Suppose think that in high tide water will be going to the 10 meters of length of the shore, and in low tide water will be going to the 1 meter length, and water lowers level and recedes from the shore, and it can even go away from the shore too. At the time of tide, low tide, it can even go withdraw and go back to the sea itself. During the full moon and new moon days, the sun, the moon, and the earth are in the same line and the tides are highest. So, in two types of days, in the full moon and new moon days, sun, earth, and moon will be coming in the same line. It will be in linear way, and at that time, the tides will be at the highest level. And these types of tides are called as spring tides. So the next type of tide after the spring tide we are going to study about neap tides. When the moon is in its first and last quarter, normally it's not in the normal days. When the moon is in first and last quarter, the ocean water gets drawn in diagonally opposite direction. So the ocean water will be going back diagonally, and it is all because of the gravitational pull of sun and earth. uh, the earth and sun is dragging the tide behind because of this energy force known as gravitational force, and the water will be rising into the lowest level. These type of tides are called as neap tides. And another important aspect of high tides is that high tides always help in navigation. So this image will help you in realizing what spring tide and neap tide is. In the first picture, you will be able to see sun, moon. In the days of new moon, and full moon, sun, moon, and earth are in a linear motion. So the tide will be higher. So it is spring tide. And in neap tide, the second image, sun and moon will be here, not in a linear way. So the tide will be smaller. It will be in the first quarter of moon and the third quarter of moon. Here it will be full moon and new moon. Hope you got it. So the last topic that we are going to deal here is about ocean currents. Ocean currents is a third type of flow of water in oceans. Ocean currents are streams of water flowing constantly on the ocean surface in definite direction. So the first two types are water coming from to and fro to the shore. But now ocean currents are a continuous flow. Whenever you look into the image of or you see a ocean, you'll be able to see water will be flowing like anything. So that process of flowing is known as ocean currents. Ocean currents may be warm or cold. Some places these ocean currents will be warm, some places it will be cold. The Labrador Ocean current is cold while the Gulf Stream is warm current. Two types are there primarily. First one is Labrador Ocean current and the second one is Gulf Stream. Labrador is cold and the Gulf Stream is warm. The areas where the warm and cold currents meet provide the best fishing grounds of the world. So when you want to go for fishing in an ocean place where there will be both warm and cold currents meet together, that places will be best for fishing. So I hope you understood the exact essence of the chapter. If you confront any type of queries or doubts, please feel free to ask. And thank you for watching. Study well for the exams.